Hey everyone, welcome back to another now recording. We're going to do the next um, collection video. So we did the letter A last week, and B has a lot. There are a lot of records under B. So we're actually going to stop. We're going to do B to B-E-A-S. So that will probably give you a good guess as to what the next video will be. It's going to be dedicated to one particular artist, so just think about that for a little bit. But there are a few records that are in that range of B to BEAS that I wanted to talk about today. So we'll get started here. Here is Joan Baez's Diamonds and Rust. I've never listened to this. I think this was my mom's. And what year did this come out? Where is it? Is it even on here? Maybe it's on the inside. I have no idea. 1970, this song was written at least, so it's probably somewhere around there. 1971. Anyway, yeah, Joan Baez. I mean, my mom was very much into the kind of the female singer-songwriters like Joni Mitchell. There's going to be a bunch of albums of hers that are going to be coming up. Phoebe Snow, people like that, and Joan Baez, I guess the same boat. So this was from A&M Records with Blue Sky, Hello in There. Yeah, Hello in There is a John Prine song. That's a good song. 1975 this says. So 1975. Some of the songs are a little bit older than that, but Simple Twist of Fate, that's a Dylan tune. That is from Blood on the Tracks. So yeah. So Joan Baez, I mean, I don't really know too much about her. I mean, I'm a huge Dylan fan, so I know that obviously he and Joan Baez were romantically involved for a number of years. And if you see the Don't Look Back documentary by Penny Baker, that chronicles, I forget which tour it is, what, 65, 66, where she is in it with him on his tour, and he's just like completely aloof to her, like that relationship has ended in his eyes, but she's still there. But I always respected her to having been a part of that, and having been so important to the development of Dylan in his career. So I don't know, we'll see. Not really my cup of tea in terms of music. It's not bad or anything, but speaking of Dylan, we're going to move on here, and let me lay these out. I don't think I can get that. Maybe I can get them all in frame. So we got that, we've got that, and then we've got that. So we've got 3 band albums. So the first, well, I placed them alphabetically, which is how I put my records, but the first one chronologically is Music from Big Pink, which is pretty famous. The cover, these are all reissues. I think these all came out the same year. I think these are all from like 2008, these reissues, if my memory serves me. A nice little gatefold. Big Pink, which is still there. I think it's a private home now. I'm sure that they get a million people coming by every day, which must be really annoying to them. But West Saugerties, New York. I talked to my friend Mike about, who's like the biggest band and Dylan fan that I know, about taking a trip there, which would be pretty funny, but probably not going to happen. But this, I mean, the album's absolutely amazing. I mean, every song on it. Tears of Rage, To Kingdom Come, In a Station, The Wait, We Can Talk, Long Black Veil, Chest Fever. I mean, they're all amazing songs. And just some cool imagery. Kind of the down-home feel of it, I guess. And then Music from Big Pink. What else do you have to say except Music from Big Pink? That's all you need right there. So you had that, and Dylan actually painted that, which is kind of funny. So you move on from there. This one came out next, and that image is just like, it says it all about these guys. You know, just what they look like, and you know, it's just amazing stuff. Again, a nice package. then this one, this is probably my favorite album of theirs, and one of my favorite albums ever. Across the Great Divide, Ragmama. I mean, there's not a bad song. I don't even need to name them because they're all just so good. So we had that one. And then finally, Stage Fright. This is like a little insert that came on. I didn't want to throw it out, though. I think it's pretty cool, so I just kind of kept it on it. On the back, it's the rest of the members. And this is, I think this is really underrated. This album's amazing. This album belongs up there with the other ones. This is their third album. Every song on this is good too. Every single one. There's not a clunker on it. These are all one disc or one record. Yeah. So when I first got a record player, which was towards the end of 2011. I went out, actually it was one of the first dates with my now wife, and we went out to dinner on Newbury Street in Boston, and I was like, okay, we have to cross the street and go to Newbury Comics, which I talked about in one of the videos. I talked about that's like their flagship store is the Newbury Street, Boston Newbury Comics. So I went over there and I basically I spent up front because I had just gotten the record player. I actually maybe didn't even have it yet. It might have been like, I might have been waiting for it to be shipped from Amazon. So I basically bought like my 6 favorite records, or like 6 records that I just absolutely had to have right off the bat. Brand new, and I spent about $100 doing that, maybe a little bit more. And these 3 were there. I bought these 3 right off the bat. Then I bought Highway 61 by Dylan. I want to say Blood on the Tracks by Dylan. And then I got London Calling by The Clash. So those were the 6 albums that I first bought new. So these 3 are 3 of the first. I just love the band. They're just so good. Again, these albums are almost perfect. I mean, you could just listen to all 3 of these front to back. You know, the later stuff by the band is decent. You know, there are some winners on some of the albums, but overall, a lot of those albums are uneven efforts. The one that I'd like to get that I don't have here, I'd like to get them all if I find them cheap enough, but the one that I would buy new is Cahoots, which is an album that is uneven, but has a lot of really great songs on it. Then they go on to Northern Lights, Southern Cross, which has a few good songs on it. Moonlight Matinee. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. Geez, I can't even think straight. I can't even remember if that's the correct title. Basically, it's a covers album. It's okay. And then, like, what is it? Islands, which is kind of like an odds and ends collection that is skippable. But these are the biggies. So you can't go wrong with any of these 3 albums. So put these over here. We looked at this the other day. I won't spend too much time on it, but it's alphabetically in order, so it's the Courtney Barnett record. I intend to get her. She had an EP before this that has some really good songs on it because I've checked out more stuff of hers, and I intend to get that. But it's kind of funny because I have a feeling my next pickup video, I haven't gotten the pickups yet, but I know what they're going to be, and it's just an example of like the journey that like how you get into things. So I bought this, really like it. I was looking up Courtney Barnett on YouTube, just looking at different things, and there is a record store in Los Angeles called Amoeba Records, and they have a YouTube channel, and they have a series called What's in My Bag, where people just like, I don't know, they go around Amoeba Records, this gigantic record store, and they buy a bunch of stuff, and then they talk about it in an interview after and why they bought it. So there was one of those with Courtney Barnett and her band, and Courtney Barnett had a Meat Puppets record, and she talks about the Meat Puppets, and then they play some of their music, and I was like, wow, that song's amazing. Whatever song that they played, it was Up on the Sun by the Meat Puppets, and I was like, oh, that song is unbelievable. So I've been listening to the Meat Puppets on YouTube for now nonstop, and that's probably going to be my next pickup. So it's just an example of like how it works. It's just kind of crazy, but it's a lot of fun too, because you never know, you know, what you're gonna come across. I mean, I would just always recommend, always just try to listen to new stuff. I mean, everyone likes Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin. or whatever, whatever band is your favorite band or whatever. But it's okay to venture out a little bit. It's okay to go off the radio. There's nothing wrong with any of the classic rock stuff. I have a ton of it. I just showed you 3 albums by the band, but it's fun to discover new music that you really like. It really is. So I've got this. This is leading me to other things. That's how it works. So, all right, the next one is one I also have not listened to, and this is the Best of the Beach Boys. This actually, I think, from when I dated all the records, when I first got them all and I put them into the Discogs, Discogs.com, I should do a whole video on that, is a website where you can catalog your records, and pretty much every vinyl release of all time is listed on there, and you can say that I have that, put it in your collection on there. This came up as the oldest record that I had, I believe. So it's in tough shape. I mean, there's like coloring on it, as you can see, like old marker. And then, let's see, let me just open this up here because I just looked at this. I mean, the record itself is in pretty tough shape. It'll probably play, but I mean, look at the pen on it. Maybe it won't. I mean, because those pen marks probably don't just stop on the paper. They probably go. There's probably some gouges in the vinyl. I mean, you can see them. So this one, I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. It might not work at all, which would be a shame. But I could probably, get a Beach Boys vinyl best of compilation for dirt cheap. And then I don't know what this is supposed to mean. Okay, check. Slow. I guess those are the slow songs. Maybe my mom, or some of these records are my aunt's, my mom's sister. Maybe they were Kiss Me Baby. You got to put that on when the boyfriend comes over at the time. I don't know. More great albums with the Beach Boys. Pet Sounds, which is supposed to be, I sound like an asshole. I have not heard Pet Sounds. I know it's amazing. I know it's the greatest album of all time. Blah blah blah. I understand that, and I will listen to it at some point. I just, for whatever reason, it has just escaped me to this point. It's kind of funny, all the different Beach Boys albums. Surfing USA. I'm sure I know probably all these songs. Louie Louie. But a lot of them don't jump out at me. But Best of the Beach Boys Volume 1. I'll try this out. I'll see if it'll work or not. And the last one for today, Paul's Boutique, the Beastie Boys, so B-E-A-S, that's what we're going through. This packaging is just amazing, the way that they did this. This is, again, like the scope of this is something that, like, you open a CD or like a tape or whatever, back in probably when this came out in, what was it, 88, and you don't get this. Like, how amazing is that? Like, you could look at this, the Newport ad, I love that. You could look at this for, sorry about the glare, I know. Brendan said, shoot away from windows. I know, I didn't think of it. But just really, really cool. I've actually Googled, I'm like a Google fiend, so I've Googled like a lot of these businesses and phone numbers and stuff like that, to see if they still exist. I want to say that it's just a single vinyl, and actually this vinyl, let me just put this down, has like all the lyrics to it, which is really cool. I mean, look at the microscopic print, but it's just really cool that you can kind of follow along with it. And then there's the Boys, and there it is, Paul's Boutique. It's just an amazing album. The Beastie Boys took me a while to come around to. My sister really liked them, and it's not that I didn't. I just kind of thought they were like goofy, which I guess they are, but it wasn't like. Let's see with the back too. It's just like that. I don't know. Like those are all good songs too. The goofy songs are great too. Shake Your Rump, Girls, Paul Revere. Like those are all really good songs. But it after a while, I finally kind of understood, or at least came around to like their flow, and their kind of nasally, the Jewish white guy pitch from Jewish white guy New York accent pitch and flow, and I really do like them now. This is the only Beastie Boys record that I have, because it's my favorite album of theirs. I'm sure that, you know, like I really like Check Your Head and Ill Communication and other albums of theirs, but this is the one that I really wanted to have on vinyl. So glad to have this. I haven't listened to this in a while, so I probably should, but it's just that they make it so easy, and the samples are really cool. It's just amazing. Like there's I don't know if it was on Wikipedia or somewhere, but just the amount of samples they used, like to think of that, you know, to think of how these little snippets of noise and songs could be used together to make a new song is just crazy. I can't even wrap my mind around it. So anyway, Beastie Boys, good stuff. So we'll be back with that secret artist that begins with BEAT in the next video, and we'll go through some of their records. Thanks a lot.